Within the next minutes, you will discover a truth about female psychology and the architecture of modern society that has been deliberately ignored. A truth that explains the quiet desperation in suburban homes, the endless arguments over nothing, and the chilling silence where connection used to live. This is not another lecture on communication. This is an autopsy of the modern soul. By the end of this, you will see the invisible cage that holds your relationship captive and hold the key to your own liberation. The feeling is a universal one for men today. You come home after a long day, a day spent navigating the brutal hierarchy of the modern workplace, a day of solving problems and swallowing your pride. You open the door not to a sanctuary but to another front. The air is thick with unspoken grievances. Your wife's face is a mask of disappointment. Her attention buried in her phone, a device that connects her to a world of curated perfection and endless options. You try to connect, to share a moment of peace, but you're met with a sigh, a list of chores left undone, a complaint about your emotional distance. You think to yourself, is this it? Is this the reward for my labor? A life sentence of quiet resentment? This isn't the marriage you were promised. You were sold a dream of partnership, of a happily ever after built on mutual respect and affection. But what you have feels more like a business arrangement that's permanently in the red. You feel the weight of it all. The mortgage, the expectations, the constant low-grade anxiety that you are failing, that you are not enough. This feeling, this profound sense of reliability and shared confusion is the starting point of our investigation. To understand the present, we must first excavate the past. We must travel back to a time before the social revolutions, before the digital age, to a period that offers a stark, terrifying contrast. Let me tell you a story not from a history book, but from the frozen hell of the Soviet Gulag. We all know the name Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the man who exposed the brutality of the Soviet labor camps. But within his work lies a darker, more intimate secret about human nature under extreme duress. He documented a phenomenon that stunned him: the rapid dissolution of marital bonds among political prisoners. Wives of enemies of the state would with chilling efficiency publicly denounce their imprisoned husbands, file for divorce, and seize what little property remained, all to protect themselves and their social standing. But this wasn't just a Soviet tragedy. During the Great Plague of London in 1665, as Daniel Defoe chronicled in his A Journal of the Plague Year, a similar pattern emerged. The social contract dissolved as bodies piled high in the streets. There are accounts of wives barricading their sick husbands in rooms to die alone, fleeing the city without a backward glance, prioritizing their own survival above all else. These are case studies in raw, unvarnished human instinct. When civilization's veneer is stripped away, a primal calculus of survival and hypergamy, the instinct to seek the strongest possible mate for security, takes over. The loyalty of a woman, it appears, is not an unconditional absolute. It is a transaction, contingent on a man's ability to provide safety and status. In the Gulag, a prisoner offered none. In the plague-ridden streets, a dying man offered none. Their utility had expired. Now let's bring this back to you, to your modern, seemingly safe living room. You are not in a gulag. You are not fleeing a plague. But the same ancient subconscious software is running in the background of your wife's mind. The mechanism is identical, only the environment has changed. The threat is no longer a Siberian winter or a deadly pathogen. The threat is boredom. The threat is a lack of perceived status. The threat is the quiet, comfortable stagnation of modern life. You provide food, shelter, and safety. But in a world where the government provides a basic safety net and physical danger is minimal, what is your utility? You have solved the primal problems and in doing so, made yourself dispensable. This is the core of the female happiness paradox. She has everything she was told to want: security, comfort, equality. Yet she is profoundly unhappy. And she directs that unhappiness at you, the provider of the very security that rendered you obsolete. This is the brutal truth that our culture refuses to acknowledge. Her discontent is not a personal failure on your part. It is an evolutionary mismatch. You built her a paradise, and in that paradise, her deepest instincts are starved for a purpose they no longer recognize. The data on this is staggering and points to a silent epidemic. According to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that in Western nations, women's subjective well-being has been on a steady decline since the 1970s. Despite unprecedented gains in rights, education, and income, women are becoming less happy. This phenomenon is called the paradox of declining female happiness. Let that sink in. More freedom, more choice, more power, and yet less happiness. Furthermore, initiation of divorce tells a similar story. In the United States, according to the American Sociological Association, women initiate roughly 70% of all divorces. The common narrative blames men, but what if women are struggling to adapt to their own instincts? The most damning data comes from unexpected sources. Classified research from post-war eras, such as the psychological capabilities of the modern woman study, buried by the British Ministry of Defense in the 1960s, fragments declassified in the 2000s. These studies hinted at potential social destabilization when traditional female roles were rapidly dismantled, without updating their deep-seated psychological firmware. They saw the cracks forming before the wall fell. Let me tell you another story, one that makes this data visceral. Imagine a young couple, Mark and Sarah. They met in college, fell in love, and built a perfect modern life together. A beautiful home, 2 new cars, and successful careers. By all external metrics, they have achieved the dream. But inside that beautiful home, Mark is living a slow-motion nightmare. He comes home eager to share his success, a promotion, a big sale, expecting celebration, admiration from the woman he loves. Instead, Sarah is distracted. She's scrolling through Instagram, seeing a former classmate vacationing in Bali, a friend with a husband who is a famous musician, an influencer with a seemingly more passionate and exciting life. Mark's promotion, his provider instinct fulfilled, registers as a 0 on her internal scale of excitement. It's baseline, it's expected. The primal part of her brain, the part that craves a mate who stands above the rest, who offers not just security but superior status and novelty, is bored. Her unhappiness manifests as criticism. You never take me anywhere exciting. We never talk anymore. Are you even happy? Mark is confused, defeated. He's doing everything he was taught a man should do. And it's not just failing, it's making her despise him for it. He is providing security in a world that has made security mundane. He is the gulag prisoner offering a crust of bread in a world that now delivers gourmet meals. His utility has been outsourced by modernity. This story is not an exception. It is the rule playing out in millions of homes, fueling a multi-billion-dollar therapy and self-help industry that only treats the symptoms. So we have identified the disease. An evolutionary mismatch where the ancient hypergamic instincts of the female psyche are maladapted to the safe, comfortable, and option-rich modern world. Her unhappiness is a ghost limb, aching for a challenge that no longer exists. For a man whose utility was rendered obsolete by central heating and food delivery apps, this explains the why. It explains the quiet desperation, the initiated divorces, the paradoxical decline in happiness. But this is only the diagnosis. The terrifying and ultimately inspiring question remains, is there a cure? If the very safety we have worked for millennia to build is the poison, what is the antidote? If providing and being a good man is no longer enough, what path remains? Now we will move from the problem to the solution. We will decode the hidden language of value that a woman's brain is hardwired to understand. A language that has nothing to do with your paycheck or your chore list. We will expose the comfort trap that is killing your relationship and reveal the 3 ancient masculine archetypes, the king, the warrior, and the magician, that you must awaken within yourself to not only save your marriage, but transform it into a partnership that is not just happy, but truly legendary. The path out of the quiet desperation is not what you have been told. It is darker, more demanding, and more empowering than you can possibly imagine. We have diagnosed the disease and stand amid the ruins of the modern marriage, understanding the unspoken reason for its failure, a profound evolutionary mismatch. The female psyche, honed over millennia for survival, is wired for hypergamy, not out of malice but out of a primal imperative to seek the strongest possible partner. In our safe, comfortable, and saturated modern world, the traditional provider, the good man with a stable job and a chore chart, has become obsolete in her subconscious calculus. He provides security, but security is now a cheap commodity. He is responsible, but responsibility is no longer enough to trigger the awe, respect, and visceral attraction that is the bedrock of a passionate and lasting bond. Her unhappiness, misdirected at him, is the ghost limb of an instinct starving for a man of true demonstrable value. This realization is the shock. But from this shock must emerge a path forward. A blueprint not for returning to a mythical past, but for forging a new kind of partnership built on timeless truths. The antidote to the comfort poisoning your relationship is not more comfort. It is purposeful tension. It is not about becoming a better provider, but about becoming a more formidable man. The solution begins with a brutal but liberating acceptance. You cannot make her happy. Her happiness is her responsibility, an internal state generated by her own purpose, struggles, and frame. Your lifelong quest to placate her, manage her emotions, and jump through ever-shifting hoops to earn her favor is the very behavior making you unattractive. It signals that you seek her validation, that her judgment is the final arbiter of your worth. This is the comfort trap, the silent killer of masculine power. Think of it this way: imagine a king. A true king does not anxiously pull his subjects to see if they approve of his decisions. He listens to counsel, yes, but operates from a deep, unshakable internal conviction. His primary concern is the integrity and security of his kingdom, not the fleeting moods of every citizen. When you make your wife's emotional state your primary responsibility, you abdicate your throne. You become a servant, a court jester trying to amuse a restless queen. She may like you, she may feel affection for you, but she will never respect you. And without respect, genuine desire-filled love cannot survive. This is the moment of inspiration hidden within the pain, the freedom that comes from releasing this impossible burden. Your mission is not to make her happy. Your mission is to become a man so grounded in his own purpose that her happiness becomes a natural byproduct of orbiting your sun, not the other way around. So how do you build this unshakable core? You must resurrect the ancient masculine archetypes that live in the DNA of every man, but which have been socialized out of you. These are not roles to play, but fundamental energies to integrate. The first is the warrior. The warrior is not a mindless brute. He is a man of disciplined action. He embodies boundaries, courage, and directness. In your relationship, the warrior is the part of you that can say no with calm finality and does not tolerate disrespect. Not with anger, but with action. He is the man who, when his wife speaks to him with contempt, does not engage in a petty argument. He simply disengages. He says, "I don't speak to people who speak to me that way, and that includes you." And he walks away. He doesn't storm off. He simply removes his presence, the most valuable thing he has to offer. This is a shocking act in a world of placating men. It creates tension, but it is purposeful tension. The same tension as a drawn bowstring necessary for the arrow to fly true. The warrior also defends his mission. If your mission is to build a business, get in peak physical shape, or write a book, you protect that time with ferocity. You do not cancel your Saturday morning workout because she's in a mood. You go. Your mission is non-negotiable. This communicates without words that you have a purpose greater than her transient feelings. This is incredibly attractive. It signals you are a man of value on a path, and she is invited to join you, not derail your journey. Let me give you a story that illustrates this power. David was the classic nice guy. He worked from home, and his wife constantly interrupted his deep work with trivial demands. He would always stop, always comply, and his resentment grew alongside his professional stagnation. He was living in the comfort trap. I told him to activate the warrior. The next time she came into his office during his designated focus hours to ask him to fix a loose cabinet hinge, he didn't sigh and get up. He turned, looked her calmly in the eye, and said, "I'm in the middle of my work right now, which funds our life. I will put this on my list for after 5 p.m. Then he turned back to his screen. The silence in that room was deafening. She was shocked. That evening there was a chill, but he held frame. He fixed the hinge at 5:15 as he said he would. The next day, something had shifted. She looked at him differently. There was a new curiosity in her eyes. He had, for the first time in years, demonstrated a boundary. He had shown that his time and mission had value. He became less predictable, less safe. And in that uncertainty, a spark of attraction was reignited. This is the power of the warrior. Not to dominate, but to command respect through unwavering self-respect. The second archetype is the king. The king is the sovereign, the long-term visionary, the calm center of the storm, providing not just material resources, but emotional stability and direction. The king energy is what you exude when you lead the relationship without being a tyrant. You are the rock in the river, unmoved by the turbulent water rushing around you. When there is a crisis, a financial setback, a problem with the children, a family dispute, the king does not panic. He does not look to his wife to manage his emotions. He assesses the situation, makes a decision, and acts. This is the opposite of the modern man who outsources his agency to his wife, asking, What do you want to do for dinner? What should we do about the kids' school? Stop asking, start deciding. Have a vision for your family and lead them toward it. He praises his wife genuinely and specifically when she acts in alignment with the kingdom's values, when she is supportive, a great mother, or achieves something of her own. But he also withholds his attention and presence when she acts out of line. He does not reward bad behavior with engagement. This calm, sovereign leadership is what a woman's hypergamic instinct is truly seeking. A man who can captain the ship through any storm, whose inner state is not dictated by her outer chaos. You become the oak tree in her hurricane of emotions, and in your stability she finds her own peace. Finally, there is the magician. This is the most overlooked archetype. The magician is the man of knowledge, mystery, and transformation. He is endlessly curious with a rich inner world and skills that seem almost like magic. He can play a haunting melody on the guitar, speak eloquently about the fall of the Roman Empire, fix a complex engine, or tell a story that captivates an entire room. He introduces novelty, the very thing the female brain craves in a world saturated with comfort. He is not a predictable open book. He has secrets, not lies, but passions and pursuits that are his alone. This creates perceived mate value. When you are away from her, she wonders what you are doing, thinking, or what new mystery you are unraveling. This is the polar opposite of the man who texts his wife all day seeking validation, sharing every mundane detail of his life. Cultivate your magician. Learn a new difficult skill. Develop philosophical depth. Have a hobby that has nothing to do with her. This is about being a whole, complete, interesting person independent of the relationship. The magician reminds her she was lucky to win you, and that she must continue to be a woman of value to remain by your side. Integrating the king, warrior, and magician is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice, a recommitment to your own growth. This path is demanding, requiring you to face insecurities, embrace discomfort, and take full radical responsibility. This path will be met with resistance, not only from a wife accustomed to a pliable man, but from a culture that vilifies this kind of masculine power. But it is the only path that leads to a marriage that is not just a legally binding arrangement of cohabitation, but a legendary partnership. You will stop seeking her happiness and start inspiring it. You will stop negotiating for desire and start commanding it through your mere presence. Arguments will be replaced by a deeper, more resonant connection. You will have transformed yourself into a source of her admiration, the cornerstone of her world. This is your call to arms. The diagnosis is complete. The blueprint is in your hands. The rest is up to you.